Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to Bite-Sized Book Reviews. So after reading 2 books about serial killers, I kind of wanted something more lighthearted, so I decided to try a romance novel. This book is called The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. It has 2 main characters and is written in alternating first person. So first we have Fizzy. She is a popular romance novelist, only at a speech she was giving to a bunch of students, it suddenly hits her that she hasn't really been practicing what she preaches. Like basically she writes about all these people meeting and falling in love, but she feels like she herself has never actually experienced love. Like she's never been in the position that all her heroines have been in. Like when she looks back on her life, even though she's had a lot of relationships with a lot of different guys, like she knows what attraction is, but she's never really had that like emotional connection, like that wanting to just be close to someone that like she's often writing about. And this throws a huge wrench in her life. Like it makes it hard for her to write. It makes it hard for her to actually even look for a potential partner. Like it makes her question her entire career and whether or not she can continue to be a romance novelist when she's no longer sure that she actually believes in true love, like at least for herself. Then we have Connor. He produces documentaries, like typically about the environment and sea creatures and stuff. And he really likes his job because it allows him to be close to his family. Like he gave up the potential of a higher paying job in LA in order to stay close to his ex-wife and daughter. Unfortunately, his boss has decided that they don't want to fund documentaries about sea life. Like instead he wants his people to produce entertainment shows because that is what is popular these days. So Connor finds himself assigned to create a dating show in order to save his job. Like he is not happy about it and he's not looking forward to it, but since he doesn't want to have to move, he is taking on this challenge. While he's at his ex-wife's house, he actually sees a bunch of Fizzy's books on her shelf, and after Googling her and confirming that she is not currently seeing anyone, he approaches her with the idea of having her star in a reality television show where she'll date a bunch of guys. Like he thinks it might be a really successful show if he could document like this popular romance novelist actually falling in love. So Fizzy initially does not like this plan. Like she overheard him say some things that makes her think he's this really terrible person. So she kind of wants to get at him. So she gives him this whole long list of requirements where if he meets them all, then she'll consider accepting this offer. Like she fully expects him to say no. Like it's a crazy list of demands. Like she wants specific types of guys, and all these guys have to have specific types of characteristics. So she's both kind of shocked and dismayed when he actually says yes, and they find themselves working on this television show. So I think this was definitely a nice change from the darker stuff that I read before. There's a good amount of humor, although I will give a heads up, I guess, that it has a lot more, it's more racy humor. Like it is an adult romance story and there's a lot more, I guess, graphic material and reference to sexual stuff than I typically see in stuff I read. I really like the structure of the dating show they wrote about. Like I've read a couple books set in like dating show settings where it often like emphasizes the really scripted nature, but this one, like they went out of their way to try to make a dating show that was a little less about like a bunch of people competing for whatever and doing crazy pointless stuff. Like it writes about like the actual dates with these different men, and it intersperses it with her developing relationship with Connor and stuff. I think it handles it in a way where I think it's a show that I might actually, have found interesting to watch too. So that's definitely something I appreciated. Something I did not like, well, I mean, there wasn't really anything that I especially didn't like, although I do, like I said, prefer a little bit less graphic material, but it is a romance story, so I think maybe that's kind of expected.